Paraná. Paraná started so well, and they've really fallen away, but Vasco da Gama, they've just sneaked up there.
Yes, Mike, Vasco going really well right now, lying 4th place in the table, and Paraná really struggling in the last 8 games.
And the player who's really making it work for Vasco da Gama, Edmundo, love him or hate him, you'll never forget him. I mean, he's always in trouble, but 6 goals in 1 game, and he missed the penalty as well.
What a brilliant performance, Mike, and a brilliant talent. Very temperamental, as we know, and he's been well documented for his activities on the field and off the field.
Well, he's always making headlines, and the headlines in Rio today is that AC Milan are trying to buy him from Fiorentina, who he will be joining in December. We'll keep you abreast of the situation and that developing story. As for tonight's game, well, Vasco da Gama in 4th spot, Paraná in 8th position. And remembering, of course, the top 8 qualify for the playoffs. So for Paraná, this really is a crucial game. Well, it's a big crowd on hand, a great atmosphere here in Rio. Stay with us. When we return, we'll have the team lineups. We'll have the first half kickoff. Brazilian football is next. Football tonight, Vasco da Gama against Paraná. The fireworks are going off, and I'm sure we're going to see some on the field tonight, especially when you get Edmundo very much involved in a game. Crucial game then for Vasco da Gama, and as we check today's starting lineups that are presented by Budweiser, the best reason in the world to drink beer, there is the Vasco side. Evair, the number 9, and Edmundo, the 2 goal scorers, who between them, in fact, have scored 15 goals so far this season. It's a side that with a lot of experience. Mauro Galvão, the former Brazilian international defender, also takes his place, although he was in doubt because of an injury. And now the Budweiser starting lineup for their opponents tonight, Paraná. Well, it's a team with some new faces in it. The number 11 there, Luis Fernando, has just been signed this week. They will look to the number 9 there, Caio Jr., their leading goal scorer with some 5 goals, but he hasn't scored in about the last 8 weeks. Osmar is also the other player they look to score the goals. He's got 4 so far this season, but they have had problems scoring goals in their recent matches. Vasco supporters, some of the most passionate in the world. And Vasco, at the moment this season, a very stable club, and you can't say that are too many. Look at the changes so far in coaches. We're only 2/3 of the way through this championship. Most teams have only played some 14 or 15 matches, Eddie.
Oh, job security is not in effect for coaches in Brazil. I mean, just look at the amount of changes, Mike. I mean, you need to, really to keep up with it each day just to see who's in and who's out.
Some teams already changed coaches twice this season. It's just interesting looking at that list. The names don't change as far as the coaches. They just seem to move from one club to another.
Well, they certainly circulate, and the last coach to go was the one at União São João. I mean, they're languishing at the bottom, and if you don't get a few good results, back to back, Mike, somehow your job goes with it.
União São João are at the bottom. Our referee for tonight's encounter is Antonio Pereira da Silva. Both the referee and the referee's assistants tonight all come from the state of Goiás. Rain coming down here in Rio de Janeiro, and it could just liven this pitch up. The field itself is in very good condition, but this rain is really going to sort of just liven up the surface. It's going to make it hard for both defenders and for strikers.
Yeah, that's the word, Mike. I think it will liven the game up also. Players like playing in rain. The ball skips, your first touch has to be right, and mistakes are common in these conditions. But as you say, the pitch, the surface is true, the weather, it's not too cold, so it's a great night to play football.
Edmundo there with a big smile on his face. Next to him, Evair. Two had such a great understanding and a great relationship during their days at Palmeiras. At least on the field, it was reported there was a lot of problems off the field between them. But that doesn't seem to be the case here now.
Well, when you talk about Edmundo, I mean, he's a volatile character to say the least. And, he can rub the opposition the wrong way and also rubs his teammates the wrong way.
Vasco will be in their familiar white shirts with that diagonal white stripe, white shorts tonight. Firework display here still continues. The referee just holding up the kickoff until this is all completed. It's a spectacular display. Vasco da Gama, who Like their great rivals here in Rio, Flamengo started, in fact, as a rowing club. It was a rowing club, in fact, that was run by the Portuguese immigrants. Flamengo, of course, started as a rowing club formed by the British migrants. Well, the fireworks have finished, Eddie, but now they're just waiting for the smoke to clear.
Yeah, and this is certainly not what the players want. I mean, as we take a look at the missing players, you know, injured is Valber and Janino suspended, got red carded last week. And they're the two Vasco players missing.
Paraná with a few new faces on their bench, but also a couple of familiar ones. Aguiu surprisingly has been dropped, and so's Ed Nelson. Two regular defenders this season, so they start tonight on the bench as coach Sebastian Lazzaroni just tries to shake things up a bit. Paraná, as we said, have not won for some 8 weeks, and after such a good start, they're now in danger perhaps of missing one of those playoff spots.
And once again, the rumours of a coach being fired. You know, Sebastian Lazzaroni is rumoured to be on the block, and you know, they weren't expected to do too much this year, Mike, and now the coach is rumoured to be on his way out.
Yes, that's the problem. You start getting some good results, and all of a sudden it's expected. Now it's Vasco who have got this game underway. Pitch at the moment still covered in smoke. Here comes Vasco on the first real attack. It's cut out there at the back.
I'm sure the players will be hoping this smoke blows over real quick, and you know, also us. I mean, we can't see a thing too clear also.
Vasco getting that one clear. They've got a good record here at home. In the 7 home matches they played in this national championship, they've won 6, they've drawn 1. They are unbeaten here in home matches. They're averaging 3 goals a game as well at home. 21 goals they've scored. They've only conceded 6. 19 of their 26 points have come from home matches.
With this Brazilian format, Mike, and we harp on it week in and week out, it's very important to do well at home, and Vasco have certainly taken care of business at home.
Yes, 26 teams in the Brazilian National Championship this year, and they just play each other once, either at home or away. Each team will play 13 home matches and 13 away matches.
It's a good format because we've seen some exciting games, because the home team, you know, obviously has come out to play and chasing the 3 points, but the away team really have relaxed and come out and showed good stuff also.
Zinho was the player playing it forward on that far side, looking for Edmundo, who was just trying to come off his marker. Throw to Paraná. Touched on that time by Sydney. Now Vasco. Play that one straight down the middle, looking for Evair, but it was well cut out in the end by Fabio. Now Paraná. This is Zinho Loyola. Ball goes to Vasco. Vasco, who have won the Brazilian National Championship on 2 occasions, 1974 and 1989. Who only founded in 1989, from the city of Curitiba. Haven't had too much success in this national championship. 16th last season, 16th the season in 1994, and 9th in 1993. Second division champions in 1992. 5 times they won the Paraná state title though.
So we got an early look at Paraná against Santos when they won 2-0, 2 goals from Bahia, and they look really good, Mike, but since then they've run a bit out of steam, and they have a lot of older players on their team. Osmar, the oldest, at 36, and you know, maybe the pace of the games is just catching up with the old legs.
Yes, their last win, in fact, was back on the 17th of August, where they beat Guarani by 2 goals to 1. It's the last time, in fact, that Caio Jr. scored a goal. Rather unnecessary at this stage of the game. Mauro Galvão. He's got a right foot injury, and he hasn't been training or practicing for the last 2 weeks. They just keep him in cotton wool, really, and hope that he can play the matches, which he's managing to do at this stage.
Well, he's so experienced, Mike, that he can get away with it. He really, as long as he can keep himself in game condition somehow, you know, in the training room, riding a bike or something, you know, his game experience will just carry him through these.
Now throw for Paraná on the far side. This is the fourth meeting between these two sides in the national championship. Vasco have won twice, Paraná have won once. And Paraná have got the first corner of the game. It was Denilson who had come forward that time. Not to be confused with the Denilson who plays at Sao Paulo. And Luis Fernando is the player who comes across. New player with Paraná to take this corner. He will swing this one in with his left foot. And a good corner! And a goal! And Paraná have taken the lead. Eliomar, the defender, had come forward. Nobody picked him up. But Luis Fernando, what a well-taken corner. Played just to the edge of the 6-yard box. And Eliomar is there.
Well, textbook training room stuff, Mike. The cross comes in, a beautifully flighted ball, and Eliomar, unchallenged, makes no mistake, heads it down. What a dream start for Paraná. I just had a sense, Mike, they came out loose, as we see confirmation of the goal in the 6th minute by Eliomar. Paraná were loose, they came out, and they mounted a decent attack there, winning the corner. What a nice ball put in, and a good finish to match.
Vasco da Gama 0, Paraná 1. Just over 6 minutes. We're in the 6th minute, the opening goal came. It might just be the wake-up that Vasco needed. Remember, they're unbeaten at home. He just takes that one quite comfortably, the goalkeeper.
I don't think Vasco would have taken Paraná lightly, because Paraná are still up there in the table, only 3 points behind them, but certainly they haven't come out with the fire you expect from the home team. And give credit to Paraná, they're taking advantage of it.
And Antonio Lopez, as we see that challenge, the coach of Vasco, who in fact is suspended for this game, watching it in the stands, was quoted this week as saying that he didn't want to play a team like Paraná at this stage, a team that are quite desperate. At the moment, his prediction is looking pretty spot on.
Yes, it's awfully difficult when you're suspended and just have to sit there and watch and have no input in the game.
Now Mundo plays it wide. And nobody there for Vasco. Now Paraná. Denilson. Good play there by Paraná. Denilson again finding space. Ginaldo, no way forward. A Boston challenge that time, not to the liking of the referee. That's going to be a free kick for Vasco.
Well, let's see the challenge going here. Just a bit of pushing, but give credit to Paraná. They're not backing off, and with these slippery conditions, the tackles are going to be coming in thick and fast.
Well, Paraná got off to a great start. This was a beautifully taken corner by Luis Fernando, and what a great finish there from Eliomar. It's his first goal of the season.
But you have to say, Mike, that was really poor marking on Vasco's part.
Now this is Ramon. Ball is kept in play. Paraná getting a lot of players back. So they want to hold on to this 1-goal lead. Galvão. Vasco trying to go straight down the centre. Paraná, though, they're working hard at the back. They're covering each other. Dino Baiano.
But what they're doing, Mike, they're collapsing numbers, and you know, they're conceding the wide areas which Vasco are not taking advantage of, and anytime a player comes through, there's just a crowd of players around him.
The offside flag is up. Italian Serie A this week here on ESPN for our viewers in Latin America only, live on Sunday. Inter Milan against Fiorentina. Inter led by Ronaldo, who put his name on the score sheet last week. Fiorentina, of course, led by Gabriel Batistuta. 5 goals in 2 matches so far this season in Serie A. See all the action live here on ESPN. Check your local listings for times. That's for our viewers in Latin America.
That's a featured matchup of 2 big-time forwards, isn't it? I mean, Ronaldo on one side and Batistuta. Buy a ticket or tune in.
Mundo there, who is signed to join Gabriel Batistuta and Fiorentina in December at the end of the Brazilian National Championship. As I said earlier, the big story today is that AC Milan are looking to buy him from Fiorentina before he even arrives.
That would be certainly maybe a possible record. Before he's played, he gets transferred.
Zinho Loyola able to go forward that time now. Luis Fernando. No worries there for Marcio. Already some matches been played today in the National Championship, and a good victory there for Sao Paulo over Vitória. There's a team who've really gone bad in recent weeks, and Sao Paulo desperately needed that win. Flamengo being held to a draw by Bragantino. That certainly will not help Flamengo in their chase for the championship. No goals there. Cruzeiro, of course, the team who won the Copa Libertadores, South American Club Championship. And Coritiba, good 3-2 victory in that game as well. And Grêmio, the defending champions, it's 0-0 at half-time in their game against Corinthians.
You remarked on it, Mike. Look at the defending by Paraná as Edmundo went through. There's 7 people in the box, and his shot was blocked by one of the defenders.
Asmar sliding that one through, but he'll be making the run for Paraná. Hustling in midfield are Paraná at the moment. They're not giving Vasco time to settle or even to get into any type of rhythm. Here's Evair. Now Vasco have stolen the ball on that far side, playing it across early. Away that time by Reginaldo. Paraná coming forward with Danielson. Paraná can keep up all this running that they're having to do, Eddie, because they're really working hard off the ball and on the ball.
Yeah, it remains to be seen, Mike. I mean, obviously a goal is a good tonic and it gets you going, and you know, it helps, you know, the defensive aspects, because you know you're protecting something, but it's a long way to go, isn't there?
As Luizinho takes the throw. Pushing it around at the back. They've only won the National Championship on 2 occasions. They have won the Rio Championship 19 times. The last of those was 1994. Seem to put a lot more importance on the Rio Championship than they do on the National Championship. Finished 18th last year in the national competition. Vasco having to work hard, but they've run the ball back. Push from behind, that's going to be a free kick.
And that's smart play by the Paraná defender, just stood in the way. He wasn't 10 yards, but he made sure that Vasco didn't play a quick free kick, which they were trying to do. And a quick free kick sometimes can hurt you if you're not ready for it.
Adriano. And this is Mauro Galvão. It's Adriano. 4 goals, but losing help that time. Paraná so quickly into the challenge, and now springing forward. And this is Luis Fernando. way through, but the flag was up.
Yeah, you certainly got to admire Paraná's transition game right now. When they have the ball, you know, and they lose it, they certainly switch on, they're alert, they're bright, and, you know, they really change from one aspect of the game to another quickly.
Well, the rain continues to fall here. There's Emundo. Now Vasco. Got players forward. And rather a wasted ball. All the good lead-up work there comes to absolutely nothing. There was options inside the penalty area that time.
Yes, and I believe that's one of the things they work on in the training ground, because there should be someone coming far post, and I think that's what he was looking for, and absolutely no one made the run.
You're watching Brazilian football. We're coming to you from the rain here in Rio de Janeiro, along with Eddie Mighton. I'm Mike Hill. We've had a sensational start here with Paraná taking the lead with a goal in the 6th minute, with Eliomar, the goal scorer, his first of the season. And Vasco coming into this game in 4th spot, unbeaten at home, finding themselves now a goal down with just over a quarter of an hour played. On the far side, it's going to go to Paraná.
So far, Mike, this rain isn't settling. We haven't got any puddles, but if it continues at this rate, I'm sure we're going to get lots of puddles, and that's going to affect the game.
Now the shot. It's hard all along the ground, certainly in these conditions, well worth the effort. It's not the sort of conditions that goalkeepers relish.
Yeah, smart play, and the goalkeeper obviously wasn't troubled that time, but you keep finding him there. You know, the rain, as it accumulates, will deviate that ball. If you take a look at it, it's hit right along the ground. See it skipping there. The keeper's well positioned.
Yes, the keeper did everything right. They got his body behind the ball as well. That's Marcio, the goalkeeper for Vasco. Little trip that time by Nasser. Just starting to see little puddles now starting to appear. You see those balls as they were just running along the ground there, that there's a little bit of water coming up. So it has been dry here in recent days. Itself was quite hard before this rain started coming down. There's our Cortez on that far side. Let's go again now. Committed players forward. Paraná with a number of players back. Here's a great opportunity, and a marvellous save there from Regis to deny Vasco. Oh, that was a great opportunity. And it was Emundo denied.
Yes, and the ball just wouldn't fall right for him, Mike. I mean, he took it off his chest, but it was set up too long for him. He did well, I think, just to get a shot, and he tried to direct it to the far corner. And the keeper, Regis, did well to stay with it and turn it around for a corner.
Well, Paraná took the lead from a corner. This is the first corner for Vasco. And they are not quite so successful. Paraná have got it clear.
Don't want to give Edmundo chances like that in the box, Mike. He was deep into the box, wide open. As I say, the ball didn't fall quite rightly for him, but he did well just to get the shot off, and he'll bury the next one.
So a free kick on the far side. Paraná. Now Sydney plays it back. Luis Fernando. Goes down quickly there by Nasser. Now Paraná. Easily intercepted. Now Vasco. Opportunity to break quickly. Paraná getting everybody back. This is Pedrinho. Who needed to be played wide then, but Vasco had nobody making the run at that stage. And that slight delay has given Paraná now time to get players back. All whipped in quickly, and the best of crosses. And now it's Vasco's turn to try to get back.
Well, that was untidy from both sides, giving possession away very easily. You see the tackles are going to go in with this slippery pitch, and once this pitch starts cutting up also, the players are going to lose their footing easily.
Dino Baiano is the player who's adjudged to have given away this free kick. Last time these two teams met was back in September of last year. They met in Coritiba. Vasco run out winners by 2 goals to 1. So Ramon with the free kick. All does its job. Vasco get a couple of players caught offside as well. For our Latin American viewers, our second game from Italy's Serie A will be Atalanta up against Sampdoria. You'll see that here on Sunday. Check your local listings for times. Sampdoria now led by Jurgen Klinsmann. Atalanta also made a good start to the season. Very credible draw last week with Parma. Paraná. Here's Fernando. He's brought down. Rather untidy challenge. Came in there from Pedrinho. 8 fouls in the first 20 minutes of this game. The longer Paraná can hold on to this, the more frustrated Vasco are going to get. This is the sort of game that I'm sure their fans thought was a bit of a give-me. You know, this is 3 points. All we've got to do really is turn up.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of football, isn't it, Mike? I mean, it's played on the pitch, and you're right. I mean, Vasco, I think the way they approach it, probably a bit complacent. Paraná frustrating them.
Vasco, who were beaten last weekend, they lost to Vitória by 4 goals to 2, but bounced back midweek, beating Internacional long ago with the league leaders. Edmundo gets this one across, away there by Eliomar. Pedrinho. Well, trying the spectacular. Just couldn't quite get it on target.
Yes, there wasn't enough room for him really to get that off. He tried to tee it up for himself, but he was so closely watched by the defenders that he just couldn't get enough room to execute the spectacular bicycle kick.
Now Vasco. Remember, of course, their coach Antonio Lopez is suspended from this game. He's watching it from the grandstand. He cannot go down to the sideline. I'm sure he's in contact with Garcia Ortella, who's the official coach today.
I think he might be up there somewhere, Mike. At least he's dry, I know, today.
Danielson. Plays this one in. Zinho Loyola. Can't get forward that time.
Yes, and Paraná are doing everything right, as you say, to frustrate Vasco. I mean, they're maintaining possession at the right times, and when they do lose it, they're crowding Vasco out with numbers, and this is good tactics.
Lovely ball forward that time by Danielson. Played to the near post. Well, Vasco at the moment seemed to be a bit asleep.
Yes, and Danielson chose the wrong option, I believe, Mike. I mean, he had a man in the box. If he had cut it back and he tried to play it to the near post, you can see it there. I'm not sure we're going to get shot. If he'd have pulled that ball back, there was a wide open shooting opportunity. But to be fair to him, he picked out a decent option, and that could have been in.
Here's Fernando. Number 11, quickly closed down there by Cesar Prates.
You got to think sooner or later Vasco are going to wake up. I mean, they have, as you say, a formidable home record, and you know, a team that's riding well and plays so well at home sooner or later has to wake up and take pride in their home record.
just trying to put this disappointing run behind them. And only managed 3 goals in their last 8 matches before that one that came after 6 minutes in this game. Nielsen looks at the referee and says, "What, me?" A little bit of a shove there, and I think he did it on the blind side, hoping the referee wouldn't see it.
Yeah, and that was great skill by Pedrinho there, the youngster who's been one of the finds of the season in this Brazilian Championship, and he's come in and showed some great touches there.
Free kick then to Vasco. Just knocked up into the air. Not the best of clearances, and the shot there deflected. And away for a corner. Well, it was Pedrinho again. A very lively character at 20 years old. Made his debut for Vasco in 1996. Ramon then with the corner. Did the goalkeeper get a touch? Yes, says the referee, so it's going to be another corner. That was a well-struck corner there from Ramon.
Yeah, this is exactly how Paraná scored. The left-footed cross came in.
Well, flicked on at the near post. Somehow the defenders managed to get it clear.
Well, you can see in world football now, the near post corner is a ploy that everybody uses, because if you have someone who can strike it well, and these balls to the near post, Ramon just struck a lovely ball with pace there. Not only can the attacking team put it in, Mike, but also it could go in off a defender.
Got across to take the free kick now. Very good dead ball specialist. This time on the outswinger. The ball just played back. Well, in the end it came to Oddvan, who is a defender. I think that shot proves why.
It really did show. He wasn't comfortable. He had his feet weren't set, and he just swung his boot, Mike. But it was set up very well by Edmundo. I just believe he's going to be a great foil for Batistuta if he ends up at Fiorentina, because he's not only a goal scorer, but he's a great playmaker too.
Oddvan has only scored once this season. That was last week in that 2-1 victory over Internacional. And a free kick for another foul, this time by Nasser. Fernando. Forward now, this is Fabio. The ball stayed in play, but Ramon was a player who's just pushed down from behind.
And those free kicks there really drive a coach nuts, because you've got the team turned, you've got them facing the wrong way, you've got them in their area, and you just don't need to foul there, just contain them there.
Now starting to ease off a little bit. Pedrinho. Now Evair. Nice travel player, Evair. Foul there on Ramon.
Luis Fernando was going to stop him one way or another, and he ended up pulling the jersey and committing the free kick in a very dangerous area.
The best of free kicks that time. Now this time it's hoisted in. The referee has spotted an infringement, plus the flag is up as well.
And you can see what Paraná have done to Vasco, Mike. They are frustrated now. I mean, they're chasing the ball around, they're trying to pump it into the box, and when things don't go their way, the arms are being thrown up in the air. Hey, Paraná have them where they want them. That's clearly offside there.
Yeah, clearly, and there's also a little bit of pushing going on in there with Mauro Galvão. Now Vasco. Running Vasco's way at the moment. And you can see there the reaction of some of the Vasco players. And no free kick given. A few of the players starting to remonstrate with the referee. That's always a bad sign. It means the team's not really concentrating on the game.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the coach really has to step in and calm these players down. And obviously Vasco's missing their leader today. He's somewhere in the stands possibly, but you know, they need somebody out there or possibly on the bench just to have a calming influence, Mike.
Well, he actually got sent off, that's why he's been suspended, so you just wonder what sort of influence he might have been. Nasser there with the sliding challenge as the rain picks up again here in Rio. We're bringing you the Brazilian National Championship along with Eddie Might, and I'm Mike Hill. And it's 8th place Paraná up against 4th place Vasco da Gama. Paraná, who haven't won for some 9 weeks, have taken the lead here with a goal after 6 minutes. Eliomar was the goal scorer. And now Vasco, unbeaten at home, trying to protect that record. As we come up to the half-hour mark in this first half, Paraná looking to increase that 1-goal lead. No way forward that time, and now Vasco. Ramon plays it wide. Emundo. Evair has taken a position in the centre-forward channel. Emundo is trying to get to the byline and cut it back, but didn't quite work.
Yes, and by his standards, give him a D there, because he's in good position. He was setting up the defender. He knew he was going to put the cross in sometime, and he just got the cross wrong, Mike.
Now Paraná. Still first to the ball every time. There's a lot of running. As this one is played towards the far post, Vasco are in trouble. Luis Fernando. This is out. Cesar Cortez.
You're so right, Mike. Paraná just, you know, they're like leeches. They're onto this ball so quickly. They're first, and then they're finding the holes in the Vasco defence, which is pretty flat right now. You know, 1-2s, through balls, they're all beating this Vasco defence, who don't look a whole lot organised.
Vasco have been pretty consistent at home this season. It's their away form that has been pretty much up and down.
But look at the spaces here for Paraná. I mean, these are areas that you should be closing players down, and they have so much time just to set up what they want, and they're playing good stuff.
Senor Loyola. Got 1-2, got the ball back. One thing Paraná are doing for each other, there's a lot of good running off the ball. There's Senor Loyola now on that left wing position. He started here on this near touchline when Paraná won the ball back. And here's Fernando. He's giving it away. Now, Emundo. What's the referee going to do here? I think the player might be doing a little bit of play acting there, because there didn't seem to be any contact.
I think there's a whole lot of play acting going on, but let's take a good look. Well, there was no contact. Edmundo, I think, was just taking a swipe at the ball which had gone, but the player really went down like he was shot, Mike.
Yeah, he didn't fool the referee. That's referee in there from Antonio Pereira da Silva. Now here come Vasco. This could be an opportunity. Now, was there a push in the back? No, says the referee. Well, the home supporters don't like that decision. Now, Mazinho Loyola playing it through, and just held his pass up just fractionally too long.
Yeah, he never really committed to one thing or the other, because the diagonal run took the defender away, gave him space. He could have cut in and unleashed a left foot shot, and he tried to play that delicate through ball, which is too tight around the box. But on the other end, I think that was a marvellous refereeing decision. There was no fooling there for the penalty. You could just see the defenders holding the line, and the through ball is too difficult.
Zevair remonstrating there with a teammate where he wanted the ball played. He wanted it played to his foot. Nowhere near it.
Yeah, when a team starts arguing amongst themselves, Mike, that is the worst sign you could have, because you're supposed to be together. You've got to, you know, be in sync, and when you're in disarray and arguing amongst each other, bad news.
There's Fernando. And again, he's coughed up the ball. Not for the first time. Now Ramon. Sliding challenge that time. The Tsar there was and he would decide exactly what he was going to do with it. Paraná again, defenders just throwing themselves into these challenges. Great defensive work that time. And we've got a free kick on the far side. Dutch football this week, it's a replay in fact of last season's Dutch Cup final, which was won by Roda. This time it's league points that are at stake. It's Roda JC against Heerenveen, and we're going to see that on Sunday. Check your local listings 4 times. That's Dutch football, Roda against Heerenveen. Throw then to Paraná. Less than 10 minutes to go to half-time. Paraná leading Vasco da Gama by a goal to 0. Goal that came from their first real attack of the game. Came from a corner.
I think, Mike, they've been well worth that lead. I mean, they've done everything necessary to keep Vasco away from their goal. On the other hand, they've, you know, created a few more chances themselves.
Paraná. Threw away that time by Advan. A free kick. An untidy challenge. The referee in fact saying that the ball was handled. He isn't missing much tonight, Antonio Pereira da Silva.
Definitely a rhythm team, and they need to hit their stride quickly, but certainly to this point they've been out of sync, I believe, and the pass is not crisp and the movement's not been tremendously good, but maybe this set play can get them an opportunity to hit their stride.
Well, Ramon is coming over to take the corner. Oh, this time he's hit it really deep over everybody, in fact. We'll go out of play for a goal kick. What a waste, really, because the last corner was such a well-struck corner. We have been informed, in fact, that there was a late change for Paraná, and number 9 out there, in fact, is Fabinho, a player who was signed this week next to Juventude. And he's out there, in fact, at the expense of Caio Jr. So that makes this 1-0 lead even more of a shock when you think that Paraná's top goal scorer is also missing now.
Yeah, but to be fair, their top goal scorer has been in a severe goal drought. I mean, he scored no goals in the last 8 games, Mike, and that's a big reason why they haven't been winning in that spell.
Now, here come Vasco. There are 7 defenders back for Paraná. Pedrinho. Good cross. Now, was there a push? Certainly the appeal's there for a penalty. The referee is not interested. But Pedrinho there did so well. Cross that was cut back in. There did seem to be some contact in the penalty area.
I like the way Pedrinho plays. He's a young kid, as we said. He's got a nice left foot and he's very tricky. He's got moves which can go both ways. And he stood up a nice cross there, and it's questionable whether there's contact, Mike, but the referee, I believe, again, was well positioned.
It's Fabio was the player from Paraná who was involved. And now Vasco. Play behind the defence, and Regis there, the goalkeeper, just policing that one out of play.
You can see the two strikers, Edmundo and Evayer, who played together many, many years, looking to connect with each other, and Edmundo picked that one up, and he knew the kind of run that Evayer was making just led him a bit too far with the pass.
Challenge from behind. It's going to be a free kick.
The fouls are starting to mount, Mike, as we get a count here of 18,000. I think largely because of the wet conditions that players are just overcommitting themselves, and you can't stop. Once you go, you're going.
It's Felipe that time was the player who gave away the free kick. Now Mundo on that far side, placed there by Fabio. So Mundo. Paraná, not the best of clearances. And Mundo lifting this one forward. And it was the defender there, Reginaldo, who got it clear. Still Vasco have won it back. Bills for handball, nothing given. All of a sudden there is some urgency in the play of Vasco da Gama. Paraná have called everybody back. Great skills there. And it was Edmundo. Couldn't get past the last of the defenders. Down the ball lifted forward. Here is Edmundo. Now, what's the referee going to do here? Mundo there making a lunge and actually catching the defender.
Yes, it was all a bit desperate, really, as we get a look. Vasco certainly dominating in the corner kick category. They've had 5-1, and Paraná defending like a team possessed.
It is, though, from that one corner that Paraná have had, they scored.
That's not bad, is it?
The referee now saying that it was Evayer arguing there with Antonio Pereira da Silva, and that's got him a yellow card.
Well, this has been going on for a while. Evayer has not seen eye to eye with this referee in the least, and he's been drawing with him for at least the last 10 minutes, and it's cost him now. He's got into himself booked.
And that's the sort of booking that coaches really infuriates them. I mean, for back-chatting a referee like that, especially after the referee had told him to be quiet anyway, and he just carried on.
Yeah, that was an instant fine when we played him. I mean, you know, coaches just wouldn't tolerate dissent. I mean, a bad tackle, yeah, you can live with, but dissent is just something you can avoid. And it's just pure frustration from Vasco. They're not playing up to their usual high standard, and it's showing.
Especially there when the referee did seem to do the right thing, told him to be quiet, and he just carried on.
Yeah, and, you know, it's one of the things that Evayer is an experienced guy. I mean, at 32, you should know better than that by now.
Now, free kick for Vasco. There's the late challenge on Ramon. Mundo played it inside, or trying to play it inside the fullback, and the corner is conceded. One fan there just poking that away. Evayer, 9 caps, 2 goals for Brazil. You should think that he would know a lot better than to get himself booked for arguing with the referee. Ramon to take the corner, an outswinger. Paraná get it clear.
And that's a great defensive header. Look how much time that brought the team in. It was cleared so wide and so high and so long that the team was able to regroup around it.
Yes, the 2 players who went for the ball. Eliomar was one of them. Seemed to have a bit of a clash of heads, but they're both on their feet now. Inside the final 2 minutes then of this first half.
And Paraná are well aware of the clock, Mike, and they just know they've got to get the ball clear of their own defensive area and just keep it down Vasco's area, and they'll go into half-time with a lead.
Free kick then to Paraná. The impresses with Paraná, they are doing the simple things and they're doing them well. As coaches tell you, Football is a very simple game. It's only players and usually managers that make it difficult. But they are just playing a very simple brand of football, keeping it, just pushing it from feet to feet.
Yeah, and they've issued the challenge to Vasco that, you know, we've got our goal. You know, if you want to beat us, you're going to have to score 1 to tie and 2 to beat us. So, you know, it's a tactic that can backfire sometimes if you sit too far deep. But like you said, they've attacked themselves and they've spread Vasco out nicely.
Felipe. Here's a chance for Vasco. And the corner conceded. Well, Felipe was the player who started that move from midfield.
Yeah, look at the touch that Fabio gets. Look at him, just lunges, gets a toe onto it, hits it into Felipe, and it results in the corner.
Now they're under siege from that corner, a mix-up between goalkeeper and defender. Now Vasco, Pedrinho. Well, the flag has gone up. Crowd don't like that decision. And that would have been very, very close. We're playing stoppage time at the end of the first half.
I think Denilson, the right back, is a very relieved man. I think he got away with one there. It's very close. We're at a bad angle, Mike, so let's give it to the referee's assistant that it was right. But I think the right back got caught out of position there.
Trip. Referee has allowed play to continue. Vasco putting on a lot of pressure during the break. Don't miss the ESPN halftime report presented by Budweiser. And another decision which infuriates the home supporters.
The ball's played through. Paraná moving up and clearly 3 players offside. But the key is when that ball was played, were they offside? You know, it's difficult for us to tell from here, but when that ball was played is the key determinant.
Rugby tackle there from behind.
Yeah, there's a Brazilian rugby tackle there.
Yes, Denilson got the yellow card for that challenge. So the second yellow card of this first half coming in stoppage time. Had a hard game midweek against Internacional, which they did win 2-1. Paraná were held to a 0-0 draw midweek against American Natal. And Vasco look a very tired team out there, don't they? They try to pick up the pace, but I don't know, they just seem that half a yard too slow at the moment.
Well, I think on the flip side, Mike, Paraná are up for this game as the referee calls a halt to the end of the first half.
So a first half that started in sensational fashion. Paraná from their first corner, their first real attack of the game, got the all-important goal. Eliomar gets his first goal of the season. That's the goal that separates the teams. Half-time then, Vasco da Gama 0, Paraná 1. More when we return. Paraná now get the second half underway. They're attacking the goal to our left. And Vasco, as one would expect, have made a couple of changes. Pedrinho has gone off. That's a bit of a surprise. He impressed in the first half. And Marcelinho is the player that's come on. And also Felipe Alvim, just a youngster, has come on. And he will take over from Cesar Lates at the back. So Vasco making a couple of changes.
And the rain keeps teeming down. It has been incessant, and this pitch is really going to be heavy and it's going to cut up. But let's see if it affects the players.
Well, 2 substitutions, Eddie, but Pedrinho being taken off, that's a bit of a surprise. He certainly impressed in the first half.
Yeah, I quite liked him, Mike. He did some good things on that left side and, you know, put some nice crosses in, but obviously they saw something. Maybe he picked up an injury, we're not quite sure, but he's out.
Paraná are unchanged. And now under pressure. This one hit deep, much too deep. 2 players at the far post, but it was overhit now. Evair. Still Doing well to keep the ball in play. Important that Vasco can get an early goal in this second half. Now that's Felipe. That's Felipe and Felipe Alvim. One wears number 6, the other one wears number 13. Morosinho. Fast, tricky little player, and certainly these conditions, the slippery surface, should really suit him. Vasco more positive at the start of this second half than they were at the start of the first half.
Well, the thing I'll be looking for, Mike, to see if Paraná can keep up the tremendous amount of work they showed throughout the first half.
All their players were showing a very good work rate. Now Vasco trying to pin Paraná back. And Paraná there just putting the ball straight out of play. Reginaldo deep into the grandstands, the ball back though quickly.
The half-time break obviously can have an effect because mentally players switch off at half-time and some of them really don't get going quick enough in the second half. But for Paraná, it's important that they keep this score level.
There with a lovely ball played inside the full-back, and that took a final touch from Fabio. So it's going to be a corner for Vasco. Evair waits there, so does Emundo. Ramon, who took a couple of very good corners in the first half. See if he can get it right this time. An outswinger, ball headed down. And just so many blue and red shirts back. There was 9 back there inside the penalty area. Ramon now to take the throw.
Certainly a better start for Vasco. Obviously, you know, they've got to chase this game now. They've really come out with a positive mentality and are taking the play to Paraná.
Vasco. Played in there. Morosinho hit this one wide. And the shot coming in the end, off target. Mundo there was picked out at the far post. Always a difficult ball to bring down. He manages to do that, but just can't get his shot on target.
Yes, that was, I believe, Evair, Mike. And yes, a difficult ball to bring down. He did it tremendously well and brought it down with his chest, but the shot just, he couldn't place that shot on goal.
Throw now for Paraná. Fabio to take the throw. Be quite happy just to try to take the sting out of the start of this second half from Vasco da Gama. Of course, when the team does come out fired up, it's perhaps the way to do it. Just go down and stay down and just try to get Vasco a bit frustrated and also just out of their rhythm slightly.
Yeah, professional tactics there, Mike, no question. I mean, no contact really made, but lie on the ground for a few minutes and buy your team some breathing time. The ball's gone out of play. The referee's assistant on the far side decided it was already out, so it's going to be a goal kick. So taken short. Luizinho. Looking at making some changes. All their subs are up at the moment, warming up on the sideline. Sebastian Vezzoloni contemplating a change. Now Vasco, nice one-touch play, and in fact the referee there got in the way of that. Not endearing himself at the moment to the Vasco supporters. Well, that's the only foot he's put wrong right now. The referee just got in the way there. So we see another really needless foul. I mean, Felipe bringing the man down, holding his shirt, but these are hard games for Vasco now, because you know, when you have to chase a game and the team is really blocking your way with a lot of numbers, it's hard to break them down, and it's going to be difficult for Vasco on this surface.
Paraná. Let's go. Stopping that one in the corner and being able to play this one forward there. Transition from defence though has been a little bit slow, and it's given Paraná time to get back. Makes it even easier for Paraná when they give the ball away with some loose passing as well.
Yeah, and on the other hand, Paraná's transition game, I think, has been spot on. I mean, they've turned defence into attack well, and when they've lost the ball, they certainly hustle back, don't they?
Yes, and then they do go forward. Everybody wants to get on the act. That's Fabio, hasn't scored this season. Turning it up that time for Sydney. And that shot was off target. Paraná, who have played 17 matches, they've only managed 21 goals in the National Championship so far, before today. As this one is slid through, this is a great chance, and it's taken. And Mundo ties it all up. Goal number 13 of the season. And they went the direct route.
Yeah, what a great through ball. The challenge is missed, and that is composure by Edmundo. He slips it through the goalkeeper's legs, and just when you need a goal, Paraná fell asleep and left the most dangerous man on the pitch alone. But give credit, the through ball set the whole thing up. The run obviously was great, but the through ball was hit on the money, and Edmundo made it look easy, Mike.
Yes, he took it with some aplomb. Vasco da Gama 1, Paraná 1. And Edmundo's 13th goal of the season. And what a great scoring record he's got now. 6 goals last week against Union Saint-Gilles. He's been sent off 5 times this season, but now that's 10 goals in his last 6 matches.
Well, love him or hate him, he is an extraordinary talent. I mean, you know, he can create things out the blue, and Paraná really were foolish to leave him alone there in the box.
Felipe Alvim. Good skills there from the youngster. And that was an awkward one for the goalkeeper, went skinning across. And Regis there just couldn't grab onto it.
Yes, I mean, the ball went skinning across, and Regis didn't anticipate it, Mike. I mean, this is great skill just to get through, and look how many bounces it takes. The keeper powers it out, and there's just nobody there for the simple tapping. But, you know, you mentioned the point that Paraná didn't want to give away an early goal, and they've certainly done that. You know, it's changed the complexion of this game completely.
Good foul on that far side to stop that attack. Free kick's been taken quickly. And now, free kick given away just outside the penalty area. Now find themselves under pressure. That was a delightful ball through. And great finishing. Yeah, the ball splits 2 defenders, and the finishing, I mean, Edmundo didn't even, you know, flinch. He just kept his cool. He saw the keeper advancing and didn't blast it, just tucked it in. And he's looking to line this free kick up, and I would fancy him to get a good strike off here. There's not much that Edmundo can't do when he puts his mind to it. That's a very well struck free kick, but the goalkeeper there was well positioned in the end.
Yeah, the keeper read that very well, but Edmundo's got the taste now. Look at him. We get a good shot of it bending there, and the keeper's read it well and made the catch.
Vasco da Gama 1, Paraná 1. It's over 10 minutes of the second half. Mazinho Loyola. Chasing back there was Felipe. English Premier League action this week here on ESPN from Anfield. It's Liverpool against Aston Villa. You can see that live on Monday. Check your local listings for times. Aston Villa have won their last 3 after their victory today over Derby County, while Liverpool held to a draw at Southampton. Karl-Heinz Riedler scored the goal for the Liverpool side. That's our English Premier League action this week. see it live. There you go, Paraná. Was that ball out of play? No, says the referee's assistant, or does he? Yes, the flag was very slow going up.
Well, Paraná almost returned the favour there of defence splitting ball there, almost got the forward in, and the referee's assistant, I think, pointed for a corner, Mike.
Oh, Paraná, just their second corner, but they did score the goal from the first one.
Well, let's see if Vasco have learned anything from that first mishap.
Omar has gone forward again. This one comes swinging in, and this time Vasco made sure that everybody was marked. Luis Fernando.
Now you can see Vasco just want to get on with the game, and they're really chasing this win. And you know, obviously the goal has given them a pick-me-up, and they've found a way through this defence to see a really crude tackle coming in. But Vasco are going to come with waves now.
It's roared on by this good-sized crowd that have braved the conditions to come out to support their favourites tonight. Rain just eased off at the moment. The players, and I'm sure the spectators, will appreciate that. Winning the ball back easily. This is something they weren't doing in the first half. So they seem to have picked up a yard in pace now. Ramon, lovely skills. He plays this one wide. Maracinho was the player trying to play it back in. They're taking up a good position.
Yes, it does really look like two different teams, doesn't it, Mike? Vasco never in it in the first half, as you say, second best to every ball, but now they've got the hunger back and they're really starting to step it up.
Ramon. That's a well-taken corner. See if he can do better with a throw-in. Maracinho. Maracinho, the player who's come on and wearing the number 16, is the sort of player that would certainly cause a few problems for this Paraná defence. He's just a small, very quick player and a veteran, 33 years old, but with all his experience, he'll have been used to playing in these conditions at one stage of his career or another.
Absolutely, he's been around the block a bit, and he showed with that first back heel he tried that he's got a good awareness. Felipe Alvim, you can see, just confirmed that he picked up a yellow card. But as you say, Mike, you need a player like that to break down staunch defenders.
Now Vasco, 3-on-3. And the goalkeeper there did well, because it was in the end Maracinho who came in, and saw his shot there stopped by the legs of the goalkeeper.
I'll tell you what, we see the shot stopped and the defender clearing, but the defence splitting ball from Edmundo was exquisite. I mean, he put the right amount of pace, he put it in the right place, and the goalkeeper was fortunate to get a leg on it.
Ramon with the outswinger, goalkeeper came. There was a clash of heads, the goalkeeper is down, play continues. And Vasco there desperately just trying to get a shot in on goal. There was nobody at home. Ball's not put out of play. And I don't think Vasco at this stage are much interested in putting that out of play. They want to keep the momentum going. Less than half an hour left. Goalkeeper's back on his feet now, so Vasco, if they were looking for an advantage, seems to have gone at this stage. And also Felipe Alvim going to the sideline to get some treatment. He's got blood streaming from a head wound, the clash of heads there with the goalkeeper. You're watching Brazilian football. Elomir gave Paraná the lead in the 6 minutes of the first half, and then Edmundo has tied it all up just 8 minutes after half time. It's 1-1, and now it's 2-1. Mauro Galvão, the former Brazilian international, the defender who had come forward, nobody picked him up. A beautiful glancing header, and Vasco now are in the lead. His first goal of the season. Well, we saw a goal from a corner from Paraná. That was textbook, and so was that.
Oh, the header though, Mike, was exquisite. I mean, Paraná, you thought would have learned. They did the same thing to Vasco, but Mauro Galvão got up so well and directed that header, which, you know, came from that near post corners we talked about earlier. Look at it, the corner comes in with pace, is unmarked, it checks off. Right there, it checks off, but that header is brilliant.
Vasco da Gama then are in the lead. Vasco 2, Paraná 1. And no wonder they're singing and dancing on the terraces. And the rain won't bother them now.
Well, I don't know if Coach Antonio Lopez, who's suspended, was in the dressing room at half-time, but whoever was in there certainly got Vasco shaken up, and they came out with fire in the second half and have really blitzed Paraná and hit them with 2 quick goals. You've got to feel a bit bad for Paraná because they played so well in the first half, but give Vasco credit, they've come out and they've dominated the second half.
Vasco still down to 10 men at the moment. Felipe Alvim still off getting treatment. He was off, in fact, when that goal was scored. He actually scored it when they were down to 10 men.
And the new signing, Fabinho, there, taking the free kick and getting it all wrong. He almost hit the corner flag with that, Mike.
Well, Felipe Alvim is now back on, so Vasco now have the full squad. He's actually having to wear a bandage at the moment just to protect that wound, which came with the clash of heads with the goalkeeper. Regis, though, doesn't seem to have come off quite so badly.
I'll tell you what, Mike, in terms of the 8th places for qualification, Paraná right now, if the season ended, would qualify as the 8th team. But obviously we know there's at least 10 or 12 games to go. And right here will be a test of character for them. And I think if they can come back and get something out of this game, I will say that they may make the playoffs. But if they go down today, I'm going to have serious question marks about them even going any further.
Yes, a loss here today, and say a win by Atlético Paranaense would see them drop out of the top 8. It might be hard to get back in there.
And of course, they were slated pre-season to be just a mid-table team, and they shot early with 4 straight wins to the top of the table. But now they're really up against it, and if they've got any ambitions of making the qualifying stage, they've got to really dig deep now.
And here come Paraná. Certainly there's a crispness now about the challenges from Vasco da Gama. Castle in there by Mauricinho, but the judge have been doing some pushing. Felipe Alvim back on with a bandage stuck over that wound.
I'll tell you, the one thing we saw though in this opening part of the second half is how explosive Vasco can be, and we talked about them coming up firing in the second half, but they certainly buried their chances.
Felipe Alvim, who we saw there with the bandage, is only 18. He's just come up from the apprentice stage after being a junior at the club. ESPN continues on the road to World Cup 98 from European Group 6. Slovakia against Spain. That is a crucial game for both of those sides. You'll be able to see it live on Wednesday. Join John Paul Della Camera and Tommy Smith for the call of that one. For Spain in that game would pretty much assure them of top spot and automatic qualification for next June's World Cup in France.
Yes, and Yugoslavia will be watching that game so closely, because if Slovakia can get a win, Yugoslavia would have to win their last game to make sure they're at least a runner-up in this group.
That's one of the World Cup groups all around the world now, starting to come down to the wire. 3 of the 4 teams known from South America. 5 from the African continent. Sebastian Lazzaroni knows all about World Cup pressure. He was Brazil's World Cup coach in Italy in 1990. He had to come back to Brazil and locked himself in his apartment for 2 weeks.
And that just tells you something about the pressure of Brazil, doesn't it, Mike? I mean, obviously they're favourites to win every World Cup, but you know, when they do disappoint, the coach really feels the wrath of the nation.
Let's ask Alberto Carlos Pereira, who won the World Cup in 1994. He got back and got absolutely crucified. Why didn't he play him? Why didn't he play him? I mean, he's just won the World Cup. He can't do much more, can he? Well, here it's Vasco leading by 2 goals to 1. How many of these players might come into calculation for a spot in Brazil's squad for France next year when they go to defend their trophy. Certainly Mundo always seems to score goals when he gets included in a Brazilian national side. 9 goals in 27 appearances, but does seem to upset the coach with some of his tactics. Dropped after the Copa America tournament, which Brazil won, because of an elbow in the final off the ball, which wasn't spotted by the referee, but was spotted by Mario Zagallo, and he wasn't impressed by it. Actually apologised afterwards.
And the thing about Brazil, Mike, is that they have so much talent in so much depth that, you know, one mistake and you're out, and you could find yourself behind a long line of players.
Marcio there with a good fist away for Vasco da Gama.
That's Evayer there, just feeling, I think he just got the brunt of a hard challenge there. He has his hand wrapped, Mike. I believe he, you know, maybe broke his hand or so, and he has a cast which he takes off again, so just has a wrapping on it.
Yeah, he's got a fractured finger, in fact, and has to take that plaster cast off so that he can play. And here come Vasco. This one cut back and a good intercept there by the defender. That was Fabio who got that one clear. And Luis Fernando.
And here's a man, number 10, Osmar, who's been in good goal-scoring form for Paraná. He's a veteran of this team, very skillful, but he's been somewhat subdued tonight, Mike.
Yes, Osmar, who scored a 2-1 loss to Bahia. Paraná have not scored in their last 2 games coming into tonight's encounter. That's 4-0 to Cruzeiro, and then lost drew midweek 0-0 with America Natal. Luis Fernando. Zinho Loyola. That's a good ball forward there.
You posed the question early, Mike, can Paraná keep up the pace that they showed in the first half? And to get anything out of this game, they're really going to have to up it, the tempo, and really show some of that first half style.
Not so much that Paraná has slowed up, but certainly there is more of a spring in the step of Vasco da Gama in this second half. And they were rather fortunate there. Mix up there with goalkeeper and defender. Marcio. Rather fortunate, that could have gone anywhere. Now here come Vasco. Another goal here, and they could really kill this game off as a contest. Into the penalty area, and the shot in the end wasn't too far wide. And it was Emundo. He was being forced wide, but still managed to get the shot off.
Yeah, such a great talent in the box. He kept his balance, and at the last minute, I believe that ball just took a hop and it screwed off the side of his boot. Let's look at it here. He's fighting off the defender, trying to maintain his balance. Look at that touch. And I think he just ran out of angle, Mike.
Now Vasco. They really seem hungry for the ball at the moment. Evair. Marcinho playing that one through, and a throw for Vasco.
I'll tell you, we've seen Vasco for a couple of weeks now, and Edmundo in the last weeks has impressed me because he's really kept his mouth closed, Mike, and let his football do the talking. And you know, we all know about his volatile nature, but right now I think he's just concentrating on playing, and he's showing it with, you know, rewarding the team with goals. And if he does get himself back into the picture with Brazil, I think you'll see a changed man, possibly.
Well, we've been hearing that now for a number of years, that he's such a skillful player, and it's just his temper and lack of self-discipline that lets him down. He seems to keep getting more and more chances. The challenge, the trip in fact, from behind by Sydney. And that's going to result in a yellow card. Well, the fourth yellow card of the game. This is Sydney.
Well, the player who's down actually lost his boot in that challenge. Sydney came down on the back of his heel. And those are painful when you get clipped on the back of the heel, right in your Achilles. I believe it was Marcinho.
Yeah, Marcinho, who is well known around these parts, used to play at Botafogo. Also had a spell over in Portugal, but actually started his career here with Vasco. Had a spell in Portugal, had a spell in Spain as well with Espanyol. And this, in fact, is his third spell at Vasco. Felipe Alvim, 18-year-old. Marcinho is going to go off to get some treatment. He certainly gave them a different dimension since he came on in that second half, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. And I think his movement and the way he's been able to stretch the defence, you know, led to the fact that Paraná had to play him tightly, and it opened the middle up probably for Edmundo, who did capitalise on a through ball right through the middle.
Now a free kick for Vasco. Restart play. Down to 10 men at the moment. Now, was there a bit of shirt pulling? No, says the referee. There might have been a slight tug, but I think the dive was a bit exaggerated. The referee wasn't going to be fooled by it.
That was great referee, Mike. I mean, we could see it from here. It had gone past the man and he just dove.
Marcinho Loyola is the player that's gone off for Paraná, and Rafael is the player that's come on. 3 goals so far this season for Rafael, 22 years old, came this year from the Nacional club that's based in Sao Paulo.
We've got an immediate greeting from the Vasco defence, who put him squarely on the floor.
This free kick comes in, safely taken there by Marcio. You're watching Brazilian football here on ESPN. Today we're coming to you from Rio de Janeiro. It's Vasco da Gama against Paraná. And Paraná, the visitors, shocking the home side by taking the lead in the 6th minute. They held on to that lead until half-time, but then the goals from Emundo and Mario Galvão has now given Vasco the lead as we enter the last 15 minutes. Along with Eddie Maiton, I'm Mike Hill. Paraná now on the attack, looking to get a share of the points here at least. Paraná in 8th position coming into this game. Vasco in 4th. The top 8 qualify for the playoffs. And Felipe Alvim seems to be in the wars again. I think that wound might have opened The referee is saying you've got to go off and get some attention and stop the flow of the blood in any case.
And also, I'm surprised they don't make him change his shirt, because his shirt is drenched with blood.
Ball played to that far post. And Paraná, this time not having players forward. And in the first half, we saw in a situation like that, they would have players waiting there.
Mike, I'm going to say it's fatigue. I mean, they work so hard, as we see them cleaning Felipe Alvim up, but Paraná worked so hard, Mike, to just close people down, protect the lead they had, and I think they simply physically run out of gas.
Well, Vasco are down to 10 men. Well, they were down to 10 men last time they scored, and have they done it again? Evair appeals for offside and nothing given. The goal stands. Evair combining there with Edmundo. Edmundo set it up. Evair finished it. His 4th goal of the season. It came in the 77th minute.
Yes, we see the tail end of it. Evair just poking it under the goalkeeper. But what you didn't see, if you probably missed it, was the great dribbling by Edmundo. He back heels it to Evair. A cheeky back heel, and the old combination strikes again, and this game really has gone out of the reach of Paraná, who's just simply been hit by a great performance in the second half by Vasco, but the dribbling by Edmundo, splitting 2 defenders, and what a great back heel to play Evair in.
77 minutes gone. Vasco da Gama 3, Paraná 1. Ironically, the last 2 goals for Vasco have been scored when Felipe Alvim has been off getting treatment. Mario Galval scored from the corner, and then Evair scoring there after being set up by Edmundo. Felipe Alvim is waiting to come back on. Here come Paraná. Nice cut back. And Vasco first to the ball that time. And not taking any risk at the back. Well, delightful goal then from Evair, set on up for him there by Edmundo. Just managed to get it past the goalkeeper.
Yes, I mean, you know, when you play with a guy for so long, Mike, it's, you know, at times it can be almost telepathic, and they've been looking for each other all night.
Oh, here's an opportunity to pull one back, and Marcio there came up with a big save. It fell in vitally there for Paraná. That should have been their 2nd goal, but the goalkeeper there stood firm.
Luis Fernando was cleaning on goal and really should have done better, and given credit to the goalkeeper Marcio for coming up with a save, but that gave Paraná, that was a chance to get them back into this game.
There is Felipe Alvim, looking more like Geronimo. He's back on. So at least Vasco now are back to full strength, as that shot is just heading clear for a corner. Somebody's going to have a headache tomorrow morning. That was hit with so much venom.
Yes, you see the defender just couldn't get out of the way. It's hit, and he does the right thing to pull his head down, and he puts it out for a corner that Paraná can capitalise on, hopefully.
Luis Fernando with the corner. This time overhitting it. Vasco there first, defending well. And now looking to spring forward. Ball pushed through, and the offside flag went up. That would have been very, very close indeed.
Yes, and what's failed Paraná, Mike, is right through the middle of the defence. They've just been opened up so easily, and you know, they really haven't protected the middle of the field when they needed to.
Rafael, he came on as a substitute. Vasco's next game will be away to Portuguesa, the league leaders of the Brazilian National Championship, coming into this weekend's round of matches. Paraná, they will entertain Internacional, the team who are 2nd.
It certainly doesn't get any easier for Paraná, does it? I mean, Vasco riding high and obviously hit them with a great spell of attacking play. Then they've got to entertain Inter coming.
Signor. What does the referee come up with here?
That surely has to be a free kick for Vasco. That was a wild challenge.
Well, in fact, he's given the yellow card to Morosino. Well, no wonder he's asking the referee, why me? In fact, it's a red card. Well, I'm not sure how the referee's come up with this. Let's have a look at it again. There's Morosino, the player in pursuit there is Fabio. And then the player coming across, that looks like Sydney.
I'll tell you what, Mike, I just can't agree with that. I mean, yes, there was contact made, and, you know, Morosino probably had his feet up high, but surely the defender came in with a reckless challenge.
Morosino is the player that's been sent off. The defender.
Yeah, we can't see him in the shot there, but look at the challenge he's put in there. He's come in 2 feet, and Morosino's really just jumped to get out of the way.
Well, there's confirmation. Morosino is sent off.
Well, I've been impressed with this referee. He's done a good job. He's been on the spot all game, but I'm going to say he's made a bad one there.
Yes, and of course that's the decision that now cost Morosino. Game on the sideline. He won't be able to play next week. That could hurt Vasco's chance. Of course, these are the problems. Referees, even when they get it wrong, they're always right.
Had Morosino been booked before?
No, he had not.
Then I'm really confused.
In fact, Sydney, the player that came across with that wild challenge, had been booked. Morosino has been sent off, but looking at the replay, it seemed that he was more interested in just trying to get his legs out of the way of that rather reckless challenge. Felipe Alvim there, just getting the ball away from the danger area. Now Emundo sprinting away from the defence, still Emundo. Good save from Regis. Emundo again, twisting and turning, getting pushed, and then just getting pushed out, and it's going to be a penalty, and rightly so. Well, great skills from Emundo.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say the same thing. You want to know why he's a class player. He's had this first attempt blocked, but look at this for composure. He knows exactly what he's doing, cuts back. The defender's all over him there, and you can see the defender, he knows it. He pulls his arms away, he's all over him there. This is a great move there. The defender just shoves him to the ground.
Yes, Emundo there with a rather exaggerated fall to make sure that the referee did see it.
Well, I hope he's not going to take it, because he missed one last week, but I guess he's a man with confidence.
Yes, I think he'd back himself whatever he was going to do. So penalty for Vasco da Gama. They lead by 3 goals to 1. This for 4-1. Edmundo.
Well, maybe Mike, last week he got bored of scoring goals when he got 6 and missed a penalty, but certainly today this is the way to take a penalty. He kept his eye on the goalkeeper, strolled up to the ball nonchalantly, and the keeper had already committed himself before he hit it into the open space.
Edmundo's second of the game, his 14th now of the season. It's 4-1. What a great fight back.
Yeah, look, you can see how he's taking this penalty. He's just looking at the keeper, waits for the keeper to commit himself, and he's got so much confidence in his own ability that once the keeper goes one way, it's easy pickings for him.
The referee has come up with a free kick now at the other end. Well, the interesting thing is that, Eddie, that Vasco, in fact, have scored 3 of their 4 goals when they've been down to 10 men. They're going to make a change now with Evayer going to come off, as we can have another look now at Emundo's penalty.
Yeah, look at his eyes, right at the keeper. He sees him go down, and this is just training ground stuff for him. But, you know, he made the penalty, missed the first shot, came back to him, he kept his composure, put a great move on the defender, who hauled him to the ground, and why not reward yourself with a goal from your own start of play?
Well, this free kick finishes up over the crossbar. And Vasco could have been caught out there, because they just made a substitution. Evair is the player that's gone off. We'll confirm who has come on for him. But interestingly, the second, the third and the fourth goal were all scored when Vasco were down to 10 men. Felipe Albim wasn't there for the first two. He was off receiving attention. And of course in the last goal, Mauricinho had just been sent off. Fabricio is the player who has come on to replace Evair. He's got just over 3 minutes to impress.
Well, you can feel a bit sorry for Paraná. They work so hard, but the real big equation in this game, Mike, has been Edmundo. I mean, he's scored two, he's created one, and to be honest, I mean, he's the extra quality that Paraná doesn't have, and Vasco do have.
It's an old adage, but there certainly has been a game of two halves, isn't it?
Certainly, Harry.
Number two over there, Danielson. Started off so well. The first half, did a lot of attacking going forward. That's Fabinho.
Let's just hope for Paraná that the frustration doesn't get to them too much, that they do something they regret after and have someone sent off for a needless foul or something, because, you know, the game is obviously out of reach for them and they battled so hard and come away with nothing, but they don't want to end up with losing players to suspension.
And Vasco is looking now to play out the remaining couple of minutes. We're in the final 2 minutes. Upended there for Fabricio, just come on as a substitute. So a flag up this time, not much doubt about that decision. Well, for Vasco, it's been a good night. Fought back well in the second half. Perhaps the only black mark for them is Mauricinho sending off. It certainly does, looking at the replay, seem a very, very harsh decision. As Vasco go looking for goal number 5.
Well, Edmundo was looking for that hat-trick, and the through ball to him was just off the mark, but he was certainly looking to cash in on another hat-trick.
Now looks like Vasco will keep their home record intact. They haven't lost so far this season, just one draw at home. This is their 8th home match, so that'll be 7 wins. And an update on the one of the other matches being played tonight. Gremio down there in Porto Alegre, leading Corinthians now by 1-0. Gremio, the defending champions, had a disastrous start to the season, but now starting to climb the table. As we see another yellow card.
Yes, a tackle from behind, which is against the rules, and the referee gives the right call there, a yellow card.
Fabio plays a 1-2. Tries to get inside the fullback. And it was Nasser who goes in the referee's notebook. Inside the final minute, but there should be some time to be added on for injuries. Felipe Albim needed attention a couple of times. Mauricinho, before he was sent off, also had some treatment. Should have taken up a little bit of time.
We're certainly getting the look, probably, Mike, at a team which is going to be in contention for the championship possibly, but most definitely going to be one of the playoff teams, and a team that might miss out.
Paraná played in, somehow that stayed out. If Vasco do have a problem, Eddie, it's sometimes that they just seem to lack a bit of concentration in the centre of that defence. I mean, they should have been punished here.
Yeah, this was a great curling ball, and this could have gone anywhere. And Felipe Alvim, with his woolly hat on, Mike, somehow got that on the ball and cleared it away. But you're right, Vasco do look shaky at the back. And, you know, we saw him get beat by Vitoria 4-2. You know, they really looked uncomfortable under pressure. So, you know, they're not a lock to win the championship or a lock to win the whole thing, but they certainly are explosive going forward, Mike.
The final whistle, and Vasco, trailing 1-0 at half-time, have come back here with 4 second-half goals to take the 3 points and keep their unbeaten record at home intact. Elio Mar gave Paraná the start they wanted, but then 2 goals from Edmundo, Mauro Galvão, and the final goal to complete the scoring from FIM. 4-1 then to Vasco over Paraná. We'll have more when we return.